Yeah, totally was. And there we go with a with an auto host from C Sharp Fritz. So welcome anybody that was sitting around in that stream. Welcome. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. I know I am. I have not streamed since last Tuesday, which is a really long time for this stream to have been out. I have been sick and certainly unable to stream, but I am feeling well today, as you can probably tell from, the fact that I'm not dead, seemingly animated. You guys can't see any of the strings. We animate those out, so you can't tell I'm a puppet. And this is all pre-recorded audio. No, I'm just kidding. So I am back. I'm feeling better. Last week we were planning on missing our Thursday stream. We were going to move it to another day because I was speaking at Momentum Dev Conference. My talk there went pretty well. Had a pretty good turnout and people seemed to like it. I spoke on C Sharp. I know that some of the regulars are going to wonder those questions, so hence I'm answering them for anyone that doesn't know. So welcome everybody. I see some people talking in chat already. As you can guess from the code that is up on the screen, up around there somewhere, we have our bot code that we're planning on running again. Now, anybody that's really irregular is going to notice something weird that's going on, and Mark Miller is going to yell at me. So I installed CodeRush. So you'll see that up in the top somewhere. CodeRush bits are in there now. I'm not super familiar with it yet. Mark Miller of DevExpress is planning on teaching me CodeRush so that I'll actually know how to use it and won't look like an idiot. But for at least one stream, I'm going to look like an idiot. And we'll see how that goes. Now, I'm fairly certain that a lot of the things in it are going to be intuitive, but we will see how that goes. I'm not sure whether I can convince him to hop on stream with me async awake. If I can, then I would love to get Mark on DevChatter to actually do that walkthrough with me. So we'll see whether he goes for it. If he does, awesome. I think there's a good chance we can convince him. I don't want this to be like, practically an advertising channel where we, just see products all the time. But I would like it if we do try out new tech, we do get someone from that company to show us how it works. You're right, I didn't run the bot yet. Brave Cobra, the bot is that will answer your question, is the one we actually use on stream, so I'm going to go ahead and get it running now. And it will answer your uptime question then. Alright, so now the bot's in chat and uptime. So it says 8 minutes, but that's really not true because I let you guys listen to the intro music for like 4 minutes while I did the last little bits of prep work. I just like to give a little bit of time for people to show up and get situated. So, alright, so the things that I wanted to cover today, now that we're through that brief recap of things, let's take a look. I know that we got a pull request that I do want to take a look at, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. Arid Tag sent us in a pull request that I know I want to get to, and then there is another one from Top Ballers that I want to bring in, and I think these two are going to collide a little bit, but we'll see how they go. So let's walk through them really quickly. I'm going to bring up our source control and switch us back over to our DevChatter bot. And from here, I'm going to jump us back to master, go ahead and fetch that, and then I want to pull up a pull request. So I think we looked at the Top Ballers command previously, and thank you, Janiscu, it's not rigged. Okay, so here is a pull request that we got from EchoStrike36, and in this one, EchoStrike set up a top command so that we can see essentially who are the users in chat who have earned the most currency. And I have a feeling I know who a few of them are, even though I haven't run this command yet. Now, when this first came in, as you can probably guess based on this being called Top Ballers, the command was called Top Ballers. We requested that it get changed to just be a top command, which it looks like it is. And the flavor text in here, you know, the biggest ballers in chat still works. But what we didn't want was for people to have to, you know, have the default be top ballers. We'd rather just have it be top. Because that makes the bot a little bit easier to pass around to someone else. And a lot of strings like this, we're eventually going to pull out and have them be part of configurable pieces inside the database. Okay, so adds a register inside a setup bot to create the top command, and I think then the rest is just test to make sure it works. So that looks good to me. I am going to go ahead and give this an update of the branch just to confirm things are still good. As long as that goes okay and everything still builds, we're going to go ahead and merge that one in. So we're going to give time for our we're going to give this time for our continuous integration server in AppVeyor to go ahead and build it and run all the tests to make sure everything still works. Once it does that, we're going to go ahead and click the merge button on that one. Brave Cobra 2, as in localization. So the intention is both to be able to support localization or any other customization that someone wants to make. So, for example, we already could localize the commands because all commands can have their alias changed. So we already have that ability, Brave Cobra, but the text that responds, we eventually want to get all that to be configurable by command in the database and screens. I've been delaying touching that because I want to switch to ASP.NET 2.1 when we do that, because I want to start our website on that. So we're gonna do this with web. Pritchett bots, welcome, hello, and so if that makes sense, Brave Cobra, that's the reason why we're delaying. I'm going to go ahead and click a button and show you guys that I do have the Visual Studio Preview installed, so we could start a web project right now that is on 2.1. So I will show you guys that. Nope, I don't have it installed. I uninstalled the preview for 2.1 apparently, which was probably because I didn't want to mess around with stuff. So anyway, we're delaying until that's not in a preview state anymore, and as soon as it's not in a preview state, we're going to go ahead and start a web project using ASP.NET 2.1, and that's our plan. Pritchett bots, thank you for the follow. Looks like we got a bunch of people joining our rock, paper, scissors game. Yes, and it's really easy to type RPG. I've done that too, Async Awake. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, yeah, sorry about that, Pritchett. Let me help you out with that. Pritchett bots, there you go. Congrats, you have 50 coins. One of the features that we need to add to this is we need to make it so that when you follow or when you subscribe, you automatically get some bonus coins. So that's going to be added to our issue list at some point. Okay, while we're doing that, I'm going to take a look at Async Awake. Did you miss that I bonused some coins to him already? Wait, or her, I don't actually know. I'm just guessing. And I apologize if I'm wrong in any direction. Okay, so the other pull request I wanted to take a look at, because we've talked about the other one before. I want to talk about this one, which I do actually like. I want to point out, although I don't want to merge it just yet. This is from AridTag, and this is setting it up so that our modules, so that different parts of the bot wire up using autofac modules. Essentially, and we could have done this using any type of module. It just happens that we're currently wired up with AutoFac, which is why we're doing the AutoFac modules for it. Now, I use the term module loosely. It happens AutoFac uses module as its term, and that's cool. So what we've got is essentially this. So the core project, for example, has some dependencies that it handles itself, where that dependency doesn't have some external reference. And so for those ones, we actually have a dependency that is registered within the core project. So I want to clarify that there are some instances where that's an okay thing to do. So what that means is that we picked up an AutoFac reference inside of this project. Now what I do want to do is I want to avoid resolving in too many different places, because that's a connection I don't want to necessarily go down. I think that could get messy. But in terms of registering dependencies, I think we can get away with that inside of each module. Now, drawing the line specifically at core, I don't think we necessarily need to do, but I think it's fine to have done. The Twitch one, for example, is one that I absolutely love, and you'll notice how clean this registration gets. The registration pieces specifically related to Twitch, that are only related to Twitch, register right here. Now my hope is that we can get rid of, and I haven't taken a look at this yet, this is why I want to pull a version of this off of here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that here. I would like to get it so all of the actual Twitch registration happens inside of the Twitch module itself, and so that the setup bot CS doesn't even need its reference to the infra Twitch. So I'm hoping we can get rid of that. So I'm going to take a look and see what still references it, because I would like it if that's maybe just mentioning the module. I don't know AutoFac modules. I'm used to structure map modules, for example. But I have a feeling they work about the same way, because I don't know why they wouldn't. Okay, did I switch over to that? Yes, I did. Okay. Yes, I'm guessing it's just the module at the top, and as long as that's the only one, then I'm good with that. And we'll find out here in a second. OMG! Alright, guys, check this out. You see that purple right there? That little squiggly? Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. We're missing an N. It spell-checked it. It spell-checked it. Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, oh, that's good. Wow, that was classic. All right, whoops. Oh, also, I picked up the keyboard that I don't know if I mentioned to you guys previously that there's a keyboard that I'm a big fan of. I picked up a keyboard for myself that I've used for a long time and I'm a big fan of. Okay, awesome. That was the only one. So that is the only reference we actually want to make to that. Which actually even makes me wonder if maybe we want to even just do this and make it be like a you know, an actual explicit one, because then we don't even have to have that up top. But I'll leave it like this for now. So, and yeah, I will be showing the keyboard here in a second. So the keyboard I picked up is I got a Microsoft Sculpt. I apologize about chroma key getting wonky. So I'm a big fan of this. I have used it previously. This is actually a keyboard I used to use. No, it's not a green keyboard, although that would be funny. But it still messed up the chroma key and wait, over this side. Yeah, over here. Yeah, I used to have one of these too. I really like it. I'm hoping it's quieter for you guys. Yeah, the other weird part is like the split right here, so hi. The part that'll really throw you off is if you don't type exactly right, you're gonna get messed up because for some reason I used to hit the Y with my left hand and the T with my right hand the way I used to type. So I learned to type as a small child a long time ago on crappy old keyboards, you know, in DOS, and that's a I don't know, you develop bad habits, to say the least. And Pritchett bots, yeah, so you do need to make sure you remove dongles or you can really mess them up. Luckily, I'm using this with a desktop computer, so I don't have to worry about that one. If I mess up the dongle on a desktop computer, then I'm my own idiot and caused my own problem. Not much I can do there. Okay, so I think I like the way that one's set up. Let's take a look at the other one. Where did we put this registry, I wonder? So these are our two modules. There's the core module, which apparently is a big one. And then there is the Twitch module, which is a small one. So we like the Twitch module. This one is super, super sleek. I mean, look at how little there is to this. And it's nice because it wires up itself. Which tells me that when we wire up a Discord module to be able to connect to a Discord chat or any other one like it, we're hoping that it can be just as easy to just get it wired up like this, and it'll be nice and simple. The other reason I really like this, I am planning on making a couple of changes here to how this works so that we don't have weirdness caused by the way that the Twitch API works. One sec, guys. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I do wonder. Yes, I do use a standing desk, Farrell. Anyway, so what I was saying is that there's a little bit of weirdness in the way that the Twitch API client and everything else is set up. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that because I'm mentioning it, and I know we've got some new people in here. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, you know, how we connect to these things, how they work, and various things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a couple of these really quickly. So if we take a look at the... where did I put the Twitch chat client? I did not open it all the way. I let it open as one of these. Alright, so inside the Twitch chat client, what we end up with is we have on-user joined and on-user left, right? Now these make sense, okay? These are chat-related. This is someone came into chat, someone left chat. Totally makes sense. We get chat commands on here. We want to have some things in here about receiving messages, sending messages, and things like that. So these are all on our iChat client API. So we have connect, disconnect. Those make sense for like all chat clients. Everything's going to need to connect and disconnect. We might want to send messages, and we might need to know who all the people are in chat. So these are what we set up for our chat system. We then also want to know when people enter and leave. So there's get everybody that's in here, and then there's let me know what changes. The part that's weird is this one. Why is new subscriber in here? So this is part of chat. Now, anyone that's used Twitch for a while knows that when someone subscribes to a channel, say that it'll post it in chat. So inside the text in chat, so if you're watching on the left, no, I don't think anybody's going to subscribe right now, but like it would say in that chat box, and I don't think it appears on that one, but it will if you're actually using the chat client, there'll be a little grayed background section in there, and it'll say something like, so-and-so just subscribed with a Twitch Prime sub, or just subscribed with a Tier 1 sub, or something like that. And that shows up in chat before anything else. So you won't get any alert boxes popping up, there won't be messages of bots confirming it or anything like that. The first notification you get is through the chat client. And so that's how you can first identify that this, subscription happened. And so that is why it's on this event. But it just feels weird to me when I'm making an API that needs to cover the fact that a subscription happened, because I sort of am making one in my interface. That's really what this is. This is a programming interface for anybody to connect a chat client. So it doesn't make sense for me to have subscribe on here. And so I want to try and break these apart so that we're not so tied to Twitch. Now this is going to make it easier. We have a work in progress pull request that was set up for us, and it's been sitting here, and I apologize to AridTag for not getting to this one yet. I wanted to get to it over the weekend, but for anybody that was here at the beginning of this, I was out sick, and that's actually why I missed a couple of streams. So basically he already started a Discord implementation, but I want to change up our structure, which in theory should make our Discord implementation of the bot a little bit easier to do. So yeah, I figured you wouldn't mind if it sits for a little while, AridTag. So that's how that works. Some of the ones that make more sense than the chat client, I wired up what I call a follower service, and I sort of hid away a couple of things. So there is I hid away the TwitchLib follower service in here, and the Twitch API. Now, I don't remember if I actually need both of those, but I've got them both hidden away in there, because I think one I use... Oh, right. This is a service that's all about the concept of followers, so it needs to be able to find out who you follow and who follows you. And so that's basically how I set this one up. So it's all about following. That's why it uses both of those. And I figure that makes sense also if you were to connect that to Twitter, for example, or our follower service. We call it a follower service. If you were to connect it to YouTube, for example, those people all be called subscribers, because they just use different terms. So that's the idea. Okay, so I like the way these modules are set up. I haven't tested this yet. The code looks pretty clean from looking at it in our pull request. So I think I'm probably good with doing the merge, but I want to run it first because I'm not quite that brave. And yeah, so let's go ahead and stop the running bot. Yeah, exactly. Works on your machine, so it's clearly fine. So the bot has now left, and I'm running this, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with a build. We're going to see what happens. Whoops. Hang on, that might just be a... this might just require a rebuild or something. We'll take a look. Oh, whoops, that was me. Yep, there we go. I didn't actually hit the control dot at the end because, yep. Yep, that's cool, it's cool. Alright, so we do build. Let's go ahead and run the bot again. So for anybody that doesn't know, our bot runs as a console application right now, and we are planning on building our web app soon, but we're building this sans dependencies anyway, so that means that we don't need to worry about where it runs, and it can run as a bot. We actually do all our configuration right now through commands, which is kind of fun, actually. Although we're going to add real configuration backend, full UI and everything in a web app, but we want to make sure that we have the ability to make these changes in the commands also. And so that is a better way to go. Okay, so as AridTag has checked, the coins command works. Does rock, paper, scissors work? Looks like it does. Does hangman work? Yep. I really need to remove the restriction on me, because I really should not have a limit in how many things I can type in. Feel free to play the hangman or rock, paper, scissors game here, guys. We're just testing this. Got it. Okay, so Hangman seems to work. The other commands seem to work. Does the commands command work? Yep, okay. And some of these ones like Fritz, does Fritz work? Yep, okay. So that means that we've tested simple commands that come out of the database. We've tested commands that are games, and a variety of other things. So this is actually pretty awesome. You've been waiting for the stream to ask me something. Yes, hi. Feel free to ask, which actually reminds me of something else. Someone brought this up in our Discord. Also, for anybody that is new here and is wondering, all of our code is out on GitHub, so you can find it there. So if you do want to contribute, ask questions, make an issue, try out the bot, anything like that, it is out there. And as Janiscu pointed out, we also have a Discord where we do a decent amount of chatting outside of the stream. So if you can't make it to a stream and still want to ask a question of me or anyone else that is part of DevChatter, because there's a lot of knowledge among all of us, that's how it works. No one knows the same things as someone else. If I have a TCP connection to Twitch servers, can I use the join command to join as many channels as I want, and then I'll just get private messages for each channel? Or do you have to make new connections? Ooh, I'm actually not sure on that one. So, okay, so you want to join different channels. Private messages for each channel. So my assumption on that one is that you can either set it up using the... I think using the new pub submodel, you might be able to get away with making more than one connection, or with connecting to more than one channel. The Discord link does not work. Oh, did that Discord link break? In that case, I will make a new Discord link. Set this token to never expire. Okay. Oh, the Discord link worked for you. Discord link should work. Because I just tried to generate a new one and it gave me the old one. So, either way, okay, awesome. Glad the link is working for you. If you are still having trouble, just let me know. We can find a way to invite you in. Send me a whisper in Twitch or something. So the short answer is that I think you need to do separate connections if you're connecting the way that we do here. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. It should be able to open up the Discord app if you have it running, or should send you over to a web browser, Brave Cobra. I wonder if Twitch Mobile messed with it in some way. Well, we'll see if we can help you out. Anyway, so something else that I wanted to bring up, because you mentioned wanting to bring something up. One of our followers actually mentioned in our Discord having watched a .NET Rocks podcast, or listened to a .NET Rocks podcast recently that had Steve Smith on it. And Steve Smith is a developer that I've actually known for quite a long time now, probably over a decade, I think. And has it been? Yes, it's been well over a decade, actually. Anyway, that follower was listening to that podcast and was like, hey, this sounds a lot like the way we're building things here on DevChatter. And I just thought that was kind of funny, because it's like, well, I would hope so. Steve and I worked together for a long time, and a lot of the techniques that both he and I used, we and others developed together. And so it's like, a lot of these structures and ways that we do things are, you know, similar because of the fact that we developed them at the same time. So they're based on the same ideas, they're based on the same principles, and you should expect to see that same structural similarity. Which is also why it was, it's funny that I think we've both now been guests on C# Fritz's channel also, which is another C# streamer for anybody that doesn't know. Funny thing, Steve lives about that way, roughly speaking 5 miles maybe. so that is the funny part about that one. He is also, I talked with him towards the end of last week, and he will be a guest on DevChatter coming up here soon. We'll be inviting him on, so he's going to be up in that corner over there, pair programming with us at some point. Welcome, Mimiron, and I apologize if I butchered that name, but that's my guess. And there should be an alert once Streamlabs also notices. The bot noticed first this time. Good job, bot. Okay. So I'm good with this code. It seems to work. The bot's running with this new registry. So I would like to merge it in. When I do this, it is going to be not very nice to the other pull request that we want to merge in. How close was I, though? So yeah, we butcher it, but how close did I get? Did I get it? If I didn't get it, let me know, and I will try to get it right next time. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix the spelling error. Mimeron. Is it Mimeron? Which looks like what you mentioned there. Hopefully at least that's closer. Like a... Oh, Mimeron. Like, okay, got it. Yeah. I think I got it. I think I got it third time's the charm, apparently. Okay, sweet. Yep, it's the embedded Chrome tab of Twitch that doesn't work. It's a proper Chrome tab it does work with. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, Brave Cobra, that the weirdness of being inside of a Twitch mobile app is what messed it up. Okay, so that merged pull request is going to mess up Echo Strikes, which means that I am going to be a nice guy and resolve the conflict in Echo Strikes. Because I'm a nice guy like that. Alright, where is his top bowlers command? Because he literally only added one line to this. There it is. Okay, so we're going to keep what was in master. Giving up his code. Okay. Now his code doesn't work after my change. However, I've resolved the conflict, and I'll put in the actual fix on this one, and we'll go ahead and make it right. So, oh, why I didn't show you guys. Son of a gun. That was my bad. Look, I did a thing. I wasn't thinking there for a second. I apologize. But I fixed his change, and I will show you the change that I made. Whoops, not that one. This one. Right here? Yeah. which is basically just accepting what the other one did. So as a subset of changes, you'll see that he now didn't do anything inside registry. And thank you for lurking, Async Awake. Yeah, see? Still thinks we're all awesome. Isn't that nice? I really like the way that that lurk works, because it's like, still thinks you're all awesome. Okay, so here's what we're going to do in order to change that. So we're going to go ahead and grab that pull request, which should go ahead and come down, and have everything except for this registration set up. Now the nice part is, I might have it look like, I might have this one be the one that sends in that fix that we had there. We'll see. So the top ballers command is in here, which means I can put it in here, right there. So I'm just going to stick it right between those. There's a top command, and I think that one will work. Lurk is a command. Brave Cobra. See? Lurk. That's a lurk command. Oh, I gotta stop the bot. This is the problem with actually using the bot that you're running. Makes it a little weird because we like to run the one that we're actually building so that you guys can interact with the one as we're writing the code against it. But what that means is that anytime I need to actually do a full build, we have to stop the thing. Okay, so now in theory, let's see if the top command works. Not quite perfect on its output there. I'm not sure what that is. Is that supposed to be a T? It's like a +1? What's the output on that? Right. What do they do? Oh, man. I don't remember what the command is. Alright, so let's take a look. Okay, arid tag, have fun AFKing, or as we like to call it, arid tag, lurking. Okay, so this channel's top ballers are okay, so this is just a, is that a face? I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. Anyway, I'm gonna chop that for now. Sorry. Okay, so what do we got? It's not gonna space them out all that well, no matter what we do with it. See, now I don't know if Feral's actually lurking, or if Feral's just putting that up there because... yeah. We can't exactly do that, but, you know what we could do? So I could put a DevChatter hype on the end. Okay. I can DevChatter hype separate them, I think. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and run this again. And, well, either way, even if you are just lurking, thank you for the lurk. We don't complain about people lurking here. You can put us on in the background and not chat. You can lightly pay attention to the code, or you can interact. Whatever you want to do. So we are testing out the top command again. And see, there's part of the challenge. I'm considered the top user. I think we might want to exclude me from that. But we do recognize some of those names. Luckily, I can zero out my own numbers at some point. And then that will solve that problem. Okay, that was a little weird with the hypes between them. Maybe I'll put the hype at the beginning. Hang on a second, guys. I need to just do something there. Oh wait, hang on. Sorry, the bot's not running. That was my bad, Noxy. My bad. Oh, bonus Noxus Prime. There you go. As soon as the bot says hi, there you go. Congratulations, Noxy. Have 5 coins. Ah, yes. Farrell, I'm sorry about that. Nothing quite like finishing up, Look, man, these aren't Luminos. Do you have any idea how many Luminos a coin is worth, Noxy? 1 coin is worth like 1,000,000 Luminos. Trust me. I set the exchange rate. Okay, so I think that works pretty well. We can change how that works for now. This string, of course, we want to make this, you know, configurable again at some point. Right now, yeah, you can tell Lumen if you like. Would it no, Brave Cobra, surprisingly it doesn't. I'm actually not sure. Well, if there is a way, I haven't figured it out. Twitch chat. New line. Let's check. How do you use new line in Twitch chat? Anybody know? There's no way of doing that at the moment as stated. Deleted. There's no way to do that currently in chat. So load it with white space. Yeah, they probably don't want new lines because your messages could get really crazy. So, that's fine. I'm not terribly worried about it. There's a cool thing we can do with this. So you know what, guys? Since I'm making adjustments to this code anyway, I am going to show you guys the cool way you can do this. So first off, let me go ahead and get this stuff in here. Alright, so this is the required piece. Adding the missing register conflict resolved away. And then we're going to do that. I'm going to commit that one first. And then I am going to tweak the top commands message. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fix this spelling error here. So we're going to fix that spelling error. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that, Pritchard bots. Just send it to me in a whisper. Let's see. What did it? Okay. Yeah, they kill new lines. Yes, you're correct, Pritchett. if you do manage to get that working, I am certain that Twitch is going to probably be upset with you for it. What? Nightbot thought that was a link. Alright. Nightbot, that wasn't a link. So, thanks, Nightbot. Sorry, guys, yeah. So, I don't use my bot for moderation, I let Nightbot do that, and it... Wait. Oh, okay. I didn't see your second one then. Apparently it deleted it before it got to my chat, which is really impressive work from Nightbot. Anyway. Because as a mod, I should be able to see any links you post. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys some cool code. So I am going to make an adjustment to the code that we were sent here in this pull request. Heloja, yes, I am going to continue the game tracker, and I need to get to it before we have a guest come on stream. And the reason I bring this up is we're going to have a guest come on stream who's actually more of a JavaScript person than I am, although he's not an expert in Vue.js. The reason we're actually bringing him on is because I was talking with him about a cool feature that we thought would be neat to add into the bot. Or not into the bot, into the game tracker program. So I'm going to tell you guys really quickly about the cool addition that I want to make to the game. Oh, hey, there he is. Hey, that's hilarious timing. I have no idea who that could be, Guy. I don't know who I'm talking about. That is hilarious. Okay, so basically, what I was talking with Guy about, Guy Royce, who's the dude in chat right there. So that's good timing. Guy Royce is he is someone that works with machine learning. Is the best way to put it. He is a developer evangelist for Nexosis, and Nexosis is what they do is they essentially build stuff that helps with with machine learning. Yeah, see? Necrosis. See? Everybody thinks that, Guy. Yeah, see? Yeah, he fixed it. He put in the message there, Nexosis. Yeah, so if anybody knows Guy, that's Guy right there. And he's a dude with a beard. Let's see, Guy Royce. We're probably gonna get the wrong Guy Royce, right? Because it couldn't be. No, not what? Royce. I can spell, can't I? Yeah, this guy, roughly speaking. So when people mention beard, they like really mean beard. They're not kidding. Anyway, Guy is awesome, and basically he knows how to do machine learning stuff better than I do, and by that I mean he knows how to do it. And what we thought would be a cool thing to do would be to have people put in their ratings for different games that they've played, and essentially tell us, hey, I like this game or that game, and, you know, give some kind of an indicator, maybe like a 5-point scale for how much they like of various games, and then we would pull all the data that we can out of the Board Game Geek website about all various games, and then from that data be able to attempt to predict what other games you might like. So the concept being, make it so the game tracker not only can track games you play, but then when you record a game, you might say, you know, for each player they might give a rating, and then we can predict how much those players would like some future game. So for example, I could then say, hey, you know, I've recorded games with a dozen of my friends. These few of us are going to sit down and play a game. What games might, you know, the four of us all like? So something like that. Or we're bringing in a new player. Everybody else here already plays the games, and we want to make sure the new player really likes this new game. So we're going to choose one that he or she would like. And we know they like these other games, so we put them in, put in some ratings, and here's what the program suggests. So however you want to use it, whatever exactly we build, that's basically the concept. Does that sound about right, Guy? Also, Dodo1213, thank you for following, and I apologize for being late about that, but I was mid-sentence. Awesome. So, but before we bring Guy on, I want to mostly wrap up what we were doing previously so that we don't have that hanging. So I want to finish the screen we were on, and then we can go on to adding that new part to the game tracker program. Okay. So, all right, let's jump back to this. The thing I wanted to show you guys. So, the way that we're doing things right now is we are well, hang on. Let me go ahead and finish what we were doing before, which is this. We have a pull request for the top ballers command. I'm cool with the pull request still having that name. I'm also cool with still having approved it, because my recent changes aren't all that crazy, and I believe they work since we're testing them. And the full set of files changed should be pretty simple. So this command has not significantly changed since, I should say this whole command file has not significantly changed since we previously approved it. All we've got here is the register, and that is our name change of that typo. And then this one is the unit testing of that piece. Okay, looks good. Hello, VFRZ, and hello again, Arid Tag, although I thought you were already here. Arid Tag, I usually don't compliment him on his amazing beard. Arid Tag, do you know Guy Royce? Have you been to any of his stuff before? I guess I don't know. Or did you just see him on the interwebs and go, hey, yeah, that guy's got a cool beard? Ah, yes, that makes sense. Okay, so that change looks good. I'm going to go ahead and merge this in. Oh, right, yes, you looked at Momentum Dev Conference and saw a Guy on there. That makes sense. Okay, so we have those committed. I'm going to go ahead and switch us back to the master branch then. And I'm going to go ahead and fetch our changes. So we're going to go ahead and have latest on master. We're no longer in those branches. Everything's merged in and nice. And so now what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of cleanup. So if you're not familiar with Git, I will show you the cleanup that I now have to do. And I do have to do this cleanup, even though I don't really want to. And I will show you in 1 second what I am about to do. So I pulled open a Git shell, and the reason I have to do this is you'll notice how quickly and easily I was able to just hop over to pull requests and pull in the branch for the pull request I was working with, which I love that I can do that, but there are a couple of consequences of it, and those consequences are that I have altered my remotes. You'll notice that I have an Arid Tag remote. Wait, do I not have my other remote? Weird. And what is it? RM to remove a remote, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep, that was it. Okay. So that gets rid of that remote, which means when I oh, and I need to kill the branch too. So get rid of that one, git branch, dpr, that one. Because if I didn't do that, it would be considering them still there. So I don't want to have access to that one anymore. So that clears up that remote, gets things nice and clean again, and if I take a look, those pull requests are gone, and I can hop over here. Yes, they do. This is a fantastic enhancement. That is a good first issue that I would love for someone to tackle, as that should be a very easy one for someone to add. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reload that. Should be good. Okay. And yes, I usually work in the shell. That is most of where I do my Git. But I, for the stream, use this explicitly. And so you'll notice that the repositories I have in here are all related to DevChatter stuff. And they're things that we've done on stream or that I might want to do with on stream at some point. And so this also gives us a nice visual way for people to use things. And we also have a number of people that show up on stream that are not really familiar with the command line, and I don't want to really scare everybody by jumping in there. So I do it occasionally in small amounts as needed, but I want our primary means of committing and comparing to be through the actual GUI application, as that makes it a little bit nicer. Okay, so that looks better. So there's something else that I want to think through here. And I apologize because I am very likely going to get a cat messing with stuff because he's wandering around and doing things. So if he starts to knock over my green screen, I will be kicking him out of the room. You guys have met my cat before. He causes problems sometimes. He's a troublemaker. But we love him. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. I was thinking of doing something horrible with this messaging stuff. Tell me what you guys think about this. So, horrible thing equals, and actually I'm going to start it as a var, so that my things can be horrible in many horrible ways. Yes, that's a great plan, except that a green cat can still knock over my green screen. He is perfectly capable of putting claws in things still. Even if he himself is green. Okay, so top users dot display. Okay, so dot select dot select. Now, if I do this, what I'm trying to think of here, now maybe I'm going crazy here, guys, is whether or not I can get away with, whether or not I can make my own I variable out of this. Int. I believe I can. And then instead of top user, I use X. Did I just do something horrible? I think I just did something horrible. Guy Royce has been timed out. Oh, whoops. Oh, well. Oh, that's fine then, Guy. In that case, the bot did its job, right? No, I haven't filtered me out yet, but that is a good point. We're gonna have to, Pritchett bots, why don't you add an issue in there to filter out the streamer? Why don't we ask to specifically filter out the streamer? Because instead of filtering out DevChatter specifically, we want to filter out by role type so that the streamer gets removed. Okay, so this gets me a collection of strings representing each one of the top users, but that's not really what I want. What I want to do is I want to do a string join, and it's actually doing it without a separator. So we're going to do an empty string join on that type, like that. And so now I have my horrible thing, and I can say, what is this? This is the top user section. Top user message. So now I can do this. And then I don't have that anymore. That's what I was suggesting. So, see, it's no longer called horrible thing anymore, which means I'm not admitting how horrible it is anymore. Although I previously was admitting how horrible it was. Was. I don't know, one of those. So, yeah, so that's the horrible thing. Which doesn't seem completely crazy, but slightly is. Alright, so if we do that, then, actually, now that I think about it, I might as well just inline this right here. So, there we go. No. String interpolation is wonderful, Pritchett. Some people might just kill me for having inline, so having done this piece. The creation of this in itself. So if I don't want to extract this, I want to introduce a local for that. So this is basically this piece here that makes that. That's the piece that I think people are gonna freak out about. Yeah, thanks, Butcher Boss. So a lot of people don't like, weird selects and things like that, and I think it's gonna work. Either way, let's go ahead and run it. I would run the test, but the test is going to test a lot of things, but this is just the message, and it's not great at testing the message because that's too much of an implementation detail. That testing that carefully is actually a bad thing, because then any change we make to it is messed up. So the tests we want to have on the message are that the people were in there, not necessarily the way it's formatted or things like that. So I'm actually going to verify that we do have tests that work that way. And if we do, awesome. And look at that. Look at that. It still works. So, hooray. I didn't break anything. The code still does what we think it does. Yeah. Sweet. That's really good. And I love how the numbering worked out perfectly. Yes, the bot is super hyped up right now, everybody. But don't pet him because he gets angry. At least he's happy after he's angry. He says rawr. Okay, so that is really cool. I like the way that works. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this committed. Because unless you guys think this is crazy code, I think this makes sense. Let's go ahead and commit it. So this is change how change generate message for top command. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and put this on top command changes. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I also want to take a look. So I mentioned something that we wanted to check on our unit testing for this. So for our unit testing of the top command, it has a process should. Oh, we should fix that. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at a command for this one. Or, actually, at the end of a process should, did we verify that it ever has the expected people in it? Does not contain that one. Does not contain that one. Does not contain that one. Verifies that we sent the message that we generate, but we don't verify the right people are in here. So we may want to check that out. Let's see. Question is whether you rethink it when you encounter it next month or just understand it instantly. Yeah, exactly. And I think when I look at that, I'm going to say, oh yeah, I get what that's doing. The question is whether I'm the only one that's going to look at that and say I understand what that's doing. If I'm the only one, then that's a bad thing. But if everyone's going to understand it, then we're perfectly fine, and we can keep it. Which I'm actually going to fix the types on that. Fix method name. And then on this one, fix types. Type clarity. Alright. And then over here, so I don't want to do a process should method on this one. I want to add a new item. And for this one, we're going to do a new test class, and we're going to call this one generate message should, because I think it makes sense to do this. We're going to have a very simple test that just verifies a couple of things about generate message. Question is whether we made that. Well, actually, I only get to get away with this if it's public. It is. Sweet. Okay, I didn't see what you posted, Pritchett Boss. For some reason, those are getting hidden from me. Just whisper it to me then. Whatever it was. Anyway, Little Waffle. What plugins do I use for Visual Studio? I use a number of plugins. One that I haven't really learned how to use all that effectively yet is called CodeRush. I just recently installed it. This is actually my first time running it in like a decade probably. So I've got that installed right here. I am either on or off stream, we haven't decided yet, going to be working with Mark Miller, who is a DevExpress employee. He's like, you know, basically Mr. CodeRush as far as I know. I'm going to be working with him. He's going to walk me through how to use CodeRush, set it up, and how to actually be productive with it. So if we do that on stream, cool, if he wants to. If he doesn't, I'll do it off stream with him, and then I will come back actually knowing how to use this. And then the other interesting ones that I'm using, you'll notice these tabs up here change color, which is kind of a neat effect. So you'll notice that they're color coded based on the project, and then they're also grouped based on them. So you'll notice all the ones out of this project are blue and they're grouped together up here. And then all the ones coming out of that test project are this sort of reddish brown color, and they're grouped together. And then the core ones are yellow, and so that's another part. It comes out of the productivity power tools right here. So this is a group project that comes with a few different projects, and that's how this one is set up. So they're pretty nice. I like them. And there are probably other extensions I use that I don't think about. Let's see. Why? So your question, why the hell Microsoft thought that adding in-app authentication on ASP.NET Core Web API was a bad idea? No idea. I have not actually talked with the team about that concept. I did not make it to the MVP Summit this year, so did not actually get the chance to talk with the team about that one. But don't know. Brave Cobra, not a Link fan. Yes, so Brave Cobra, that's why... Yeah, yes. So, interestingly, I do talk to people when they do have difficulty with Link. What I usually recommend is that they try to solve problems entirely with Link, and then don't use the Link, but like try to solve problems with that one. And then that helps you to understand Link. So I recommend that to people that are new to Link as a way of figuring it out. So for example, try doing a coding kata, like the greed kata, for example. You can do it all in one line of Link if you're a masochist, but you can. And what's neat about that is you really start to understand Link. So whenever you see a Link statement, you can see it and basically grok what it does. And so it helps with that. But in practice, you generally want to keep Link to like one-line things. Like this select is pretty easy, right? That's like one thing. Or like a simple group by that you're then going to select off the group by, create some kind of object, either a tuple, a tuple, an anonymous type, something that you're going to use in some other way pretty simply, and then quickly be done with it. But what you don't want to do is have like a dozen lines of complex Link statements. That just confuses people. Even if you understand that, it's not good for anyone else. And then the other thing a lot of people miss is that you can actually break up Link into multiple lines, even if all you're doing is having an enumerable. So realistically at runtime, it's going to work the same way, but it gives other developers a chance to understand, and you can name parts of the Link, and that helps with that. So, welcome Gandalf 2010, thank you for following. Okay, so don't blame Link for one devs. Yes, exactly. And Link has been amazing for the language, but it also gets abused sometimes. And yes, so tools are good at figuring out another way of writing some code so that you can convert it to Link. ReSharper is especially interesting for that. Let's see. And yeah, as Pritchett points out, hopefully, Brave Cobra, you're not talking about using the query syntax of Link, because I don't know anybody that still uses that, to be honest. And the guy is correct. It can be a golden hammer that we do need to avoid, and that's scary, Brave Cobra, because you said both. Sharkdeed, welcome, thank you for following. And yes, so I am an old Python guy, actually. Before I switched to C#, I wrote in Python. So when Link and Lambda expressions showed up in C#, I was a happy camper, because I was already used to having Lambda expressions, so it was kind of disappointing that it didn't have them anymore in C#. So, Link best practices #1, don't use it. If by Link you actually mean the query syntax, then I will agree with you. Don't use the query syntax. Microsoft will not like me telling you this, but don't use the query syntax. No one understands it. No one reads it. I don't know a developer that actually uses the query syntax. And if I did, I'm sure I would hear from the rest of that developer's team that the query syntax is evil. Just use it for little things like this. Because you got to remember, Link is really just, for most of us, a set of extension methods. Like .select, that's just an extension method, right? Oh, give me a break, Pritchett. Hand-rolled for loops are not enough for everyone. There's a reason for each loops were created. Anyway, let's go and hop over to this. We're going to go ahead and make a fact. We're going to use that one, and how did they, I wish I knew what all the, I will soon be learning all the, like, auto-complete-y type things in this. Hang on one second. Yeah, so remember I mentioned my cat would be knocking over my green screen at some point? He was just banging my green screen into me. So you guys don't get to see the green screen fall over on me, I hope. Anyway, so we're going to make a test for this one. And this is on our top command. So we are going to make a top command. It is going to be top command. Command equals new top command. Nope. Does that do it? Okay, that's how you do it. Alright, and then we need to have a mock I repository. We're going to grab that one, and we're going to grab this dependency. And then we want to object that. And then that should be enough for that. And then we want to say command dot generate message. Which actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure why generate message is not sure why it's not static. Because it really could be. We'll find out though. String message equals that, and then down here we are gonna say message dot should, using fluent assertions, be, we're gonna say contain. Alright. What do people, I need to fix a bug in our legacy software in Comrade. Oh man, yep, you're done. Rest in peace, Arid Tag. You were not long enough in this world. Again, I'm wondering, do you mean the query syntax, or do you mean, like, the extension methods? Because if you mean the extension methods, then I'm sure the person that made the extension methods thinks they're great. Okay. Okay, top users, and then this is gonna be new chat user, and our new chat user is gonna be display name of Brendan and tokens equal to 10. And what we're going to do is this. We are going to extract this as well, which I wish I knew the keyboard shortcut to do that. So we are going to make sure that it contains both the display name and the tokens. Oh yeah, if you mean the query syntax, then yes. I'm pretty sure that someone thought that that was going to be a cool way of making it so that someone could work with SQL, but I have a feeling there are regrets now. We'll find out. Knowing how things work around here, I will have said something like that, and that person, you know, who did that will be, like, speaking up in chat right now. Cool. That's my first time using CodeRush's test runner. Neat. Oh, yeah, Pritchett's right. That is a good question. I wonder what the Roslyn team thinks about the query syntax when they had to support it. I guess they still have to support it. Okay. In theory now, so here's what we did. Generate should. Let's go ahead and rename this. Include name and tokens given one person. So now I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and do this again, but this time, instead of one person, we're just going to confirm 2. So I figure 1 and 2 is enough to be fine, but then I also want to make sure it doesn't bomb when it has 0. So we're going to have chat user 1 and chat user 2, and then chat user 1 and chat user 2, and then 1 and 2. And whoops, 1, 2. There we go. I'm not stupid. I didn't totally fail at that. Okay, so that one's Brendan, but this one is not Brendan, so we'll call this one who's in chat. Okay, congratulations, Pritchett. You were in chat. Anybody have a number in your name in chat that I can see right now? Dang it. Who followed most recently? Gandalf 2010 did. 2010's a bad choice. Ah, there we go. 521. Congratulations. You spoke up. There we go. And in order to make this more complicated, we'll grab 1213 just to make sure that we don't accidentally have any hits on that. Okay. So that should be able to work pretty nicely. Those are some pretty simple tests. The third test I want to put in here, just so you guys are clear, is I want to put in one where we make sure we don't bomb. So I handled the single case, I handled the multi-case, and I'm going to handle the case where we have 0, because it's important to handle the case where you have 0. Let's say someone runs this and, you know, right as the first command, as the bot starts up, it shouldn't throw anything. Not throw given no users. So it could be that they just started it, it hasn't been 1 minute, they run the top command. We don't want it to throw any exceptions just because no one has earned any currency. Maybe we add in a currency reset at some point. Someone runs currency reset command and that, you know, wipes out everyone's currency back to a blank slate. They run the top command. Let's have it not fail, because we're reasonable developers and we want to actually make sure this works right. If this is using .NET Core, does that mean it can build on Linux? This could run on Linux. Nothing about the code that I did here should restrict it. So if you want to run this and you're not using Windows, you should be able to. You want to install VS Code most likely, and you should be able to use it. So let me know if you do try it. I would love to hear about, well, hear of it working, or not working for that matter. But it should work. No reason it shouldn't. Okay, so we added a couple of tests to that, so that's why I was calling this cleanup. So I called it the see, top command changes, because I wanted to do a little bit of cleanup here. So this is adding some tests to that. Adding generate message should test. Gonna add that. I'm gonna go ahead and push this branch up. Yep, so if you want to run this on Linux or on Mac, I do expect that you will be able to. Top command changes. Was there anything else about top command that we wanted to get to while we were in here? Other than that, that command looks nice and simple. I think I suggested that this could be static, didn't I? Yeah, totally can be. In that case, yeah. Yeah. Well, have fun, Malachi. Enjoy the book. What are you reading, by the way? Okay, so... And I'm okay with it still being on top command, because it really is part of top command, so... But the nice part is now we don't have to mock out a repository we're not even using. So, that makes it a lot better. LTCDR of awesomeness instead of number 1. Oh, yeah. No problem. Yep. Feel free to focus on whatever it is you need to focus on. It's important that you get work done. DevChatter should be fun and educational, but not actually keep you from doing work that you need to get done. And implementing domain-driven design. Malachi, that sounds awesome. If you are interested in domain-driven design, I can recommend some stuff to you by Steve Smith that will also be useful. He has some good materials on DDD. So look up, I don't know, probably Steve Smith and DDD. If I can type. They're not books, but seriously? I didn't get higher stuff on that? Yeah, here you go. Domain-Driven Design Fundamentals by Julie Lerman and Steve Smith. I would recommend checking it out if you have access to that already. Oh, okay, you've already seen that one. Good. In that case, some of the stuff we do is probably familiar. We don't do everything from that yet, because I'm trying to build everything organically, so you don't want to jump to anything. But, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Haloja, we don't have mounted contexts yet. We're not actually doing we're not really doing that much, even anything regarding data. We don't really have any concepts of aggregates yet. The bot's fairly simple as it is, and I'm not a big fan of jumping to any big structure to begin with. I like organically changing to things. Because there is something to be said about over-architecting a solution, and I don't like over-architecting solutions. So, I don't, to say the least. What I try to do instead is iteratively change to a structure that I think will do things well. And as we need it, you'll notice that we do talk about getting some more of these things. So I have talked, for example, about adding domain events to our code. So Generate message to be static. Also went through Evan's book. Yep. I have read a couple of books on DDD. I don't remember which ones. One of them was just domain-driven design, and I've read some other ones as well, but I don't remember which ones. And yeah, you could argue that the bot could be a bounded context, Malachi. That's valid. But we could also potentially draw some bounded contexts elsewhere. And anybody in chat, if what we're talking about when we talk about DDD is confusing, just yell at us and we can either clarify or just change our topic. Hang on a second. I'm going to create that pull request again, but this time with more changes in there, because I realized that I could make that one static. So there we go. So we made that a static method that does that, and yep, that looks good. Create a pull request, and this is top command. We're going to say changes to top command. Tweaked the top command with new way of generating its message and added some tests around the message generation. Also made that method static. So notice when I'm making my pull request, I'm not always, but I am trying to actually be pretty good about actually making it nice for someone else to look at this. And I'm going to throw the help wanted tag on that one because I would like it if someone else would review that and just make sure it looks good before we merge that in. Even though it is a pretty small one, it's nice if my changes do get reviewed by someone else. So if anybody is interested in reviewing that, feel free to head on out there to that one and give it a comment. Let me know what you think of the code, give it a review. And hey, thank you for getting this one in here. Filter users out of the baller list by role type. When I request the top users, I want the results to not include the channel owner, who is listed as owner in a Twitch role via the API. Yep, sounds good. And I actually think, since that's already part of our chat user object, that this one's probably a pretty easy one, and thus I'm going to tag a good first issue, because this should be exclusive to one section. Brave Cobra, you could technically take the link out, but arguably there's not any link there. I'm just using an extension method and a lambda expression. If we're going to play that, little game there, there's no link. What link are you going to remove? Okay, so I sent that in there. I'm going to jump us back to the master branch. So we're going to lose those changes we just made, but that's fine. I just won't mess around in that code for a little bit until we get those merged in. No. That was not my evil laugh, because my evil laugh is too loud and the mic is too close that I would hit the top range and it would be bad sound. And I can't do a quiet evil laugh. Yeah, I actually can do an evil laugh that is pretty evil, but I'm not going to do it on the mic. Maybe another time, guys. Maybe another time. Let's see. Okay. Other things that we wanted to work on. So we got our module changes in, which is really freaking sweet, because that makes setup bot way nicer, because we now have this module here. So thank you again for getting that one in there. It is very nice. Oh, and we were working on our operations stuff. Okay, let me see what branches we have outstanding, and we will use that to decide what we work on next. Because I have a feeling I've got a couple of branches. Okay, so this one has an open pull request. The heist game we're still working on. Command usage tracking, I know that we started, but we're going to wait on. And hype overlay is also completely on hold. Now, the reason that that this one's on hold, that one we're waiting until ASP.NET Core 2.1 is available. And once that is out of preview and is actually released, which is sometime this quarter, which means we've got about 60 days left. Within that time frame, they're going to get us that. We're going to go ahead and start our hype overlay again. And then that one's going to disappear then. Okay, so we don't have anything outstanding right now. And Abruzzi, C++ is very relevant to the IT field. It is not a programming language that we use here on stream, but it is a very, very relevant programming language to a lot of people. It's not heavily used in business applications, but you will find it in a lot of other places. So some of that just comes down to what it is you want to work on, whether or not that's a relevant language. Okay, there was a feature I remember talking about last week that I was planning on getting to soon that I didn't because I got sick. And I had forgotten about till now, so I'm hoping I remember. Sol Noob PvP, welcome, thanks for following. Hopefully you enjoy DevChatter. So the change that I was thinking, I know it had something to do with operations. And I wish Arid Tag were here because he might remember what the changes that I wanted to make. Because I think I was talking to someone in Discord about this. By the way, if you didn't know, very likely Arid Tag, if you want to talk with us outside of the stream, because we only stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays here. If you want to talk to us outside the stream, Discord is actually a way to talk to anybody else in DevChatter. You probably noticed from the chatter in our chat already that there are a lot of people that know a lot about development in here. So if you do want to, talk between us, we are on Discord, and that's where we do our chatting. And if you want to contribute, we have our code on GitHub. Brave Cobra, would it make sense to split the core into separate projects, making commands to load optionally according to configuration? Yes, Brave Cobra, that is the plan, is to at some point separate some of these pieces out. That is something we could do now. For example, extracting the games out as separate libraries, for example, I think would make a lot of sense. Some pieces I think really are core commands that we want to have in here. And we don't want to separate those out. Scroll up a small amount in the chat bot project to see our small discussion. Oh, yeah. Okay. So if I scroll up in the chat bot project, thank you. And then I might be able to see what I said in there. What was I talking about? What did I say? Sorry, just reading through some text that I wrote in a chat box, guys. Perhaps default would know it's in a bot command, and so thoughts on all calls to commands being through operations and having a default operation be the one that doesn't use an operator. Thinking operations can specify a parameter list and we can use that for validation of arguments. Okay, right. Alright, so here's the concept. So let me explain basically what I was thinking. So right now, if I open up the commands command, you'll see that the commands command has two operations in it. So what I was thinking about adding is essentially adding a default operation or something like that. So basically this. Let me make sure that so I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna say default operation, but then once I've got that, I want to make sure that I'm in a good place. I'm on the master branch, that's fine. I'm not gonna commit to it, but I wanted to make sure that I was working with latest code and everything. So default operation. Yeah, I don't have a specs command or a PC command, but I could at some point if you like. That's a pretty easy one because our commands are all hard. Like, I can create commands in here. This course introduces students to general programming principles, logics, and problems. Some of the topics include data operation flow from The course uses programming languages such as C, C++ for illustrating the principles of programming concepts. As a first-time programmer with that language, get by me. Okay, so Abruzzi, for learning computer science and programming, C and C++ can actually be very good languages because you understand what's going on underneath the hood, and that is actually a very useful thing in the long term. That does not mean that it has to be your first programming language, but it's not necessarily a bad one to be one of the early languages that you learn. There's a lot of value in learning a language like C or C++ early on in your career. Return string. Okay. So they can be good. Whether or not they are that does not mean that they should be the only language that someone learn in a course. So I learned C and C++ as some of the early languages that I learned as well. And I think I know a lot about how other programming languages, including C# work, because I learned C and C++. However, writing business applications and things like that, and I mean, even a lot of other types of codes, if you're really going to be building much of a UI, I'd recommend against using C and C++, because they're not great at that. That's not to say you can't work with them in that, but they're not the best for it. So, yeah, see, as Wheelspin points out, if you are going to be on hardware, C is a language that is very useful, whereas C# is less useful on hardware. Okay, so default operand. So we're saying if... so I think for the default one, our operand is null. Return operand equals null, I think, is the way we're going to make this one work. Not 100%. I'm going to have to make a test for this. So operations, and then... Oh, right, I left that for other people to do. Default operations tests. If no one else gets to them, I'm going to have to add those tests myself at some point. And should execute should. I love it. This was written by the Department of Redundancy Department. Fact. This is a fact. Public void test 1. Okay. So now that we've got that, we have a basic structure for a test, and this is a new default operation. So we want to use that one. We're going to say operation equals new default operation. And then we're going to say operation dot should execute given null. We expect this to be true. So we're going to say that, and then we are going to say result should. That'll be using Fluent API, be true. And then, since I'm going to jump straight into this one because it is so simple, we're going to say false on the next one. Be false. And then for this one, we want to have an operand, and this operand will be, say, add, just as an example. Return false given an operand. And this one will say return true given no operand. Ooh, that's a tough one, actually. Ooh, I'm actually not sure on this. I realize a problem. And Wheelspin, quit messing with the thing. Okay, so here's my thought, everybody. Tell me if you think I'm crazy here. So my thought on this is, I want to make it so that our default operation is the one that runs, and I kind of want to make it so that this code still gets defined somehow inside of our own class, and we'll see about that. But what I want to do is, I want to make it so that I'm thinking that this one should execute only if the other ones all returned false. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to give this command a new default operation. Okay. Now what I want to do with that is I kind of want to say I'm tempted to change the way an operation works. I almost want to give an operation some kind of an index, a number, so that we can, an order, an ordinal, some kind of a number so that we can say if more than one matches, take that one. Because what I want to do is I want to say that the default operation always applies, but is not the first one. So right now I think what I'm doing is I'm saying single or default. But I think more than one might actually run. Green Fox, that is a great question. That is called a... so that's often called a fat arrow. Yeah, Malachi, a priority, exactly. So you're talking about this here. Essentially what that means is that this is an expression-bodied property called operations. So effectively what that means is there is an operations like getter only property that exists. So think of this like, you know, a get, and then this is a method that's defined as the implementation of that get. So basically this fat arrow often just means that to the right of this is an expression, or in this case you could think of it kind of like a method, and that's what's over here. And then this code is a little weird. Basically what I'm doing here on the right hand side, so I explained the fat arrow, Green Fox. Let me know if that makes sense. But then the question marks, essentially what I'm doing here is I'm saying when someone asks for operations, give them back the backing field, this underscore operations field, and then the double question mark says, if the operations field is null, instead give them back what the result of, instead give them back the result of this, of what's to the right of the double question marks. So that's called the null coalescing operator, and to the right of this, we initialize that backing field. So essentially the idea is we're making it so that this is a lazy loaded backing field for operations. Does that make sense, Green Fox? Let's see what you said. Oh, I see. So if it is null, it will create the new list with the statements. Exactly. You got it. Perfect, Green Fox. Yeah. Yep, that is exactly it. So yeah, that is exactly right. Arid tag, null coalescing operator uses left hand side as null, use the right hand value. Yep, thank you, Arid tag. In autofac, I think the order registration there matters. Ooh, yeah, it might, Brave Cobra, for certain things. Malachi, it's a lambda function enables to write an inline function. Yep. I'm gonna guess Zachwer. But if I butchered that, let me know. Welcome, thank you for following. Hopefully you enjoy DevChatter. And then, yep. And Guy Royce likes to call it that the skinny arrow, the skinny stabby, and the fat stabby. Yes. Yeah, that looks about right. Yep. I like skinny arrow and fat arrow, but sure. You know, stabby works too. Yeah, arrows are stabby. In terms of performance, does lazy loading in this way make a difference? LK, not really. So the reason that I am lazy loading that is because I want to make sure that the all commands property has been set by the time we get to this. But other than that, there's not really going to be a performance hit. The amount of time it takes to create 3 objects that are basically nothing objects is so minimal inside of C#, and it's not like we're creating a collection of these. So if I were making, say, like 1 million of this object, yeah, there'd be a performance hit from lazy loading these. But we should not see it here as a result of this. So actually, so the thing I want to mention, ELK, is because I do notice that you say, or is it based on how many times the getter is accessed? The lazy loading won't actually matter. Once this is set, the check for a null reference is so minimal within C# that you will barely notice it. So, because this is all that would run in the future, and this is basically the same as a getter. So the lazy loading piece will cost just basically nothing, as long as we're not, you know, calling this inside of a loop with like 1 million things, and that's just not how our bot works. So I'm also against premature optimization. I have optimized some systems that had to be very performant. So I've done advertising systems on the internet before. So I apologize to you in advance, because the advertising systems I have written on the internet are in fact ones that advertise to developers. And I can tell you that it was very, very important that we had extremely quick responses on everything. So we were very quick, and we had to make lots and lots of logical decisions. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. My thought here is that I want this default operation to basically do whatever your default thing is, and I kind of want to make it so that it is considered to be Malachi, yeah, all in C#. And in fact, it was on it used C# and ASP.NET before .NET Core, so, you know, long time ago. We just trimmed it down to be basically as minimal as we could possibly get it. So it takes a lot of work, but you can write C# that is actually very fast. You just have to know what you're doing. And thank you for the follow there, Green Tea Fox. And Janiscu. So interestingly, when we were first developing it, this is actually where I worked with Steve Smith at one point, and he wrote a great write-up on this. So he wrote some code that did basically the initial setup of our ad engine that, you know, did the display of the ads. And then I went through and I did like the optimize everything approach, and I started going through and I'm like, oh, I removed like 10% of the execution there, another 20 there, 30 there, 10 there, 20, you know, blah, 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 and we kept on going, and it still was nowhere near fast enough. And then we started actually running profilers, and we found out there was a stupid thing running that had nothing to do with our code, that once we eliminated that, everything was great, actually. So it turns out I'd been optimizing a bunch of stuff that was really good to optimize because it made us much better, but we didn't necessarily need to actually get it all. And I actually am now thinking that I want to make this just be true. So speaking of fat arrow, I'm going to make should execute on the default operation be true. And we'll see why in a second. So that's going to make me change how this test works. So should execute, should return true. Which is a really sad test. Now. Okay. You got a great question about server performance. Wouldn't native code run faster, and why no one does that? Native code does run faster, but usually the performance of the code at runtime in terms of how fast it executes is not as important as maintaining and adding features and functionality to the code. And so development time and the costs of development usually outweigh that. Because what you have to remember is, and this is what I always tell people that criticize C# or Java or whatever programming language someone wants to use that isn't writing in assembly language because it's not fast enough, is they always end up in this discussion. I'm kind of like, you do know that if you write bad C++, it's slower than C#, right? Like, that's the stupid part. It's like, a developer can write bad code anywhere. I see the commands command is basically the factory. Yes, no problem, Brave Cobra. I can explain. The commands command is actually the command that lets you create new commands that are stored in the database. So the commands command lets you create simple commands. So it manages simple commands, which means it's a command that just responds with text. So for example, the pet command is a command from the commands command. And what that means is that that's just raw text that just gets stored in the database, and we say, for the message pet, respond with this. And those are all managed by the commands command. Janiscu, in Saturday I was not lucky to win the Global Azure Bootcamp Rebels. I am sorry to hear that, Janiscu. And Twitchloff, I don't run NCrunch, but I know people that do. Most of the time, everything is fast enough. Yes, exactly. So, a lot of times you just need something that's fast enough. You could spend all your time optimizing for performance, but unless you really need it, you don't, there's a reason we say premature optimization is the root of all evil, because it really is. You can spend so much time optimizing for performance and writing code that no one can read, and the problem is that reading code and maintaining it is far more important to the business than that the code runs fast. Yeah, exactly. Java, .NET, Ruby, whatever you want to use, whether you're Python, JavaScript, if you're on Node, that's fine. Write code that you enjoy writing, write in the language you like, and that's... yeah, sorry, the commands command, I guess, could be called the simple commands command, but we wanted to, have the command's name, because if we do this, look, if I type in here and I say commands, you'll see in chat that it came up with commands over there on the left, and those are all the commands that are available. So if I want to do command add, so I could do cmd add, sorry, I'm sorry, and then say everyone. We can now do that. And Malachi, you are right. It does. It is annoying when performance gets bad and the company is not able to get it fixed. So that is an annoying thing. Whoops. There we go. Okay, make it work, then make it good, then make it fast. Yes, Twitchloff, you got it. That is the order. Make it work, make it good, make it fast. Yep, you have it perfectly, Twitchloff. Because if your code doesn't work, it's worthless. If it's not maintainable and not able for other developers to work with and add features to, then your code's basically stuck, and again, like, what else are you going to do with it? And make it fast always needs to be the bottom priority. Well, maybe not bottom, but at least not above those two. Where game developers don't do anything about it but blame others. Yeah, so... yeah, make it work, and that's often budget problems too, that cause make it work to be the bottom step there. Okay, I'm restarting the bot here, guys, just so we can get another build and a restart on this. Okay, so I'm making that return true, and the reason I'm thinking that is I kind of want this to have, whoa, what did we bomb on? Was it just the thing that I think it always is? It's probably just, okay, so for anybody that's new here, you probably haven't heard me mention before that the Twitch API includes a method that gets you access to everyone that's currently in chat. Now, the API has that method, except that the method's undocumented and throws 500 errors sometimes. Oh, give. Oh, man. Thank you. Good job, Malachi. So, it blocked you on the second one, but give blew up. That's my bad. While we're in here, I'm going to fix that. Good catch. Thank you, Malachi. Malachi caught an exception. Well, found one, I should say. Thank you, Malachi. Well, actually, let's take a look. What do we do with this? If it's null or white space. Okay, yeah. So we just weren't safe enough on that. Unless you wanted to fix that one yourself there, Malachi, but I think I already got it. Fix null ref. Create branch. Give command. Fix this null ref. Alright, we're going to go ahead and commit that, and then push that one up and merge that one in. Yeah, Twitchloft, that is a very good point. It probably would work well for this. It is something that we should take a look at. I am going to do a pull request for this. I'm going to bring this on screen so you guys can see it. There's our pull request. Here's the change that I very quickly made based on what Malachi sent in. I added this question mark dot here, a null conditional operator, which will give me null propagation on that. And that ought to fix the issue. And in order to confirm that I actually did fix that issue, I'm going to do two things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the bot with the change, and we're going to run the same command that Malachi did. I'm actually not sure if we have any official ASP.NET guys here right now. Okay, cool. It responded back with the help text, as it should have. So, very nice, Malachi. So, it looks like I got that fixed. So, nice. We're gonna wait for that to actually finish that build. Yeah, I really need to yell at the ASP.NET team to actually show up to our stream, because we get enough people in here that they should probably be paying attention to this one. Although, in order for that to get them in here realistically, I should start using ASP.NET, because right now I'm only using .NET Core, but close enough. We will be, as soon as they drop ASP.NET 2.1. So that's actually a good point. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Alright, so our pull request one went... wait, do I actually still require that the branch one passes? Branches? Master branch? No. I do not require that one. So, I will click that button and merge that in. I'm not sure there's a specific thing that I'm looking forward to most in 2.1. Maybe, yeah, no, there is. The new, like, .NET Core SignalR code should be in 2.1. So we'll say that. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Malachi. I lied. I said there wasn't anything, but apparently that's what I'm looking forward to. Because I thought about it for a second, and that's the one. Okay. So now we got that code going. Yeah, see? See, there we go. SignalR. Everybody at least can agree on SignalR. Alright, so we're done with the give command. We're looking over here. The change that I want to make to the iCommand operation is... now, someone suggested something as a number for, like a word for what we called this. I was saying like ordinal or index. I'm going to scroll through the chat messages you guys got me here because I thought someone said a good word for it. And if you did, say it again. Malachi had said priority. So that could be a decent one. WorldWake, do you do functional programming? You've been looking to learn some F#, but it seems like it might be up your alley since I do C#. WorldWake, to answer your question, interestingly, I get to answer it in a way that I think you'll like. But first, so I have looked at F# a long time ago, but I haven't touched F# in a long time. I started working with a developer back in like 2010 or so that had used F# at a previous business, and they used it at a company that did work in insurance, and I think F# was a really good answer for them. I know some other developers that are big fans of F# that I am planning on inviting to the stream. So while I don't do F#, there are a couple of developers that I am trying to find a time that works for them to show up here. It's tough because most of my connections that I have, and people I know and that I would invite to be on stream, either that work at companies where they use F#, or even C# or ASP.NET or whatever, a lot of them are in the United States, and I do my stream during people's workday, so that's one of the challenges with finding time to schedule my pair programming partners. But I am planning on bringing someone on that knows F#, and we're probably going to do some F# on stream. I don't know what project we'll do with F#, whether it'll be like a module that we add to an existing project that's written in F#, or whether we just do some F# coding for the fun of doing some F# coding. But we'll figure that out, and it could be fun. So I am very much a use the right language for the right job kind of person. I will actually tell you guys about a fun project that I did when I was in college. I'm going to call it Ordinal for now. I'm not a huge fan of the name, but meh, it's not the worst. Okay, so I'm going to make Ordinal. Anyway, so in college, I took a class that was called Artificial Intelligence. My Artificial Intelligence course was pretty much the only course that I took that I would say was really an awesome course that I had in college. And hang on one second. There are some books of Pluralsight courses and functional code with C#. They're kind of eye-opening. Yeah, see, there you go. So C# has been adding in all kinds of things that would have been exclusive to F# before, so it's really becoming more of a functional language, so it's quite nice in that sense. So, yeah, it's quite nice. Anyway, so I'm going to set this ordinal to max value because I think I want this one to always be last. And then I think everything that implements the base operation, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to set its value to 0. So I am going to set its value equal to 0. Essentially just giving every base command operation a property ordinal with a backing field that has an assigned value of 0. And then on my default operation, I actually realize I should do it this way and set it equal to int.maxValue. And the reason why is I was wanting to make it so that basically all the commands, they sort just fine unless I've got one that needs special treatment. Sorry about that, Malachi. The auto mod actually caught you there. I just allowed your message through. So basically, I want it to be that the default operation is always the last one chosen, because I want to make it so that if any other operation was selected, we use that one first. Default is basically the fallback of we didn't match one of your other operations, so we're going to do whatever your default is. So that's the idea here. Okay, so the thing I was talking about, I was talking about my artificial intelligence course that I took in college, and it was actually really interesting because I like the way that the professor taught the course. And the way that he taught the course is we would learn on a Tuesday a new programming language, if you didn't already know the programming language, and what he would then do is we would, we would have a homework assignment assigned for Thursday that was using that programming language, and that was basically if you didn't learn enough in his, 45 minutes of explaining it in class, then you needed to figure that out at home. And then on Thursday, he would assign a project that was going to be using that programming language. And the reason that he did this is that we would be doing a certain type of artificial intelligence project where a certain programming language was better suited to that task. So we ended up using a variety of different types of programming languages in that class, which I thought was a really neat way of doing it, because there are because any given language is better at certain things. So it's kind of like combining the idea of artificial intelligence with the idea that you should choose a programming language based on the task, not the other way, not like trying to force, like, I know this language, I can solve all problems with, whatever. So, certain ones like this is basically, a business app. You could write this, our chatbot here that we're doing in C#, I could do this in any language. It doesn't matter. There's no one language is better or another for this problem. Okay, so this, we return back that string should execute. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I am going to go to the commands command, And I'm going to change this one to use a default command. This is going to be the only one that I'm going to change for now. I want to put that in there. Let's see if I can get this thing to expand null coalescing operation? What in the crap? Why would you think that's what I wanted to change? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Action, taking an iChat client and a chat user. Regularly switching between Malachi? I mean, it depends. I think there's some value in knowing them, though. Okay, so alright, so now that we've got that here, show all commands didn't return a string, but it will. It will. Because now it is no longer an action. It is a function. But it is not a function of that. It is a function of... Whoops. Of string. Right? But they're much more commonly adaptable in all languages. It takes a lot of time to master a language, and especially the ecosystem, so if you switch a lot, you'll basically be... Malachi, yeah, if you switch too many times, yeah, but there is a lot of value in knowing more than one language. And I think there are a lot of people that do have to do more than one, so I will bring Saduki back on the channel at some point, Malachi, as a guest. For anybody that doesn't know Saduki, we will bring her back on here. She is awesome. She is a developer that does both C# and Java on a regular basis, and you and Saduki can have fighting words about the value of being a polyglot. And WorldWake, you juggle C#, Java, C, C++, Python, Bash. Yeah, exactly. So. Any more, I don't think any of us can escape from having to know JavaScript in addition to whatever other languages we use. So I want to change how we're doing this, and I might need to take this code. I think, here's what I'm going to do, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do this one off stream. This code is not going to happen on stream. So this is going to be default operations. That's what we're going to call this branch, and I'm going to do a work in progress commit, starting default operation, continue off stream, because I think that one's going to be a little bit too weird to do on stream. So we're going to go ahead and commit that one and push it up. You guys can take a look at the code we've started here, but it's not really going to continue beyond that. I did just mention what? Why didn't... What? 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 What is going on? What? What? Alright, we're gonna do that. There you go. Yeah, I know Red Tag. I'm restarting him. Bringing the bot back up, bringing the bot back up. Resurrect the bot. Resurrect the bot. He's back. He's not dead, Jim. Okay, wait, he's dead. Is this just... I'm like 90%. One of these days, guys, I meant to do it back when people were sending me that code, but that was right before I took my trip and then got, you know, horribly ill. We're going to fix that error. Okay, bot's back in the chat, and... Okay, so as I was about to say, right when I pushed up that new branch, if you want to take a look at our code, it is out on GitHub. We were talking in Discord last week about how we could avoid that error in a nice way at some point when I get around to writing the code that avoids that. We are calling the Twitch API, and the Twitch API has an undocumented method, has an undocumented call available to it that gets us all the people that are in the chat at the moment. So what that means is, in order to get all the people that are in chat, we have to call an undocumented portion of the API. And guess what? The undocumented portion of the API fails sometimes with a 500 error. So, what I need to get around to doing at some point, because I just haven't done it yet, is I need to wrap that method call in a try-catch block and just be done with it. Yeah, exactly. I kill the bot and then resurrect it. I'm kind of like a necromancer in that way. So anyway, as I was saying, the discussions we actually have in Discord really are about code. So if you are interested in joining, click that Discord link, and you can actually chat with any of us about code after the stream is over. Probably .NET to retry the request. Yeah, Malachi, we're basically just going to wrap a retry around it. So we're going to do a few retries, and that's basically all it's going to be in order to make it work. And it's going to be perfectly fine. However, what I am going to say is that we will be back tomorrow at about 2 p.m. Eastern Time. As we've been streaming for about 2.5 hours. This is my first day back after missing 2 streams, so I don't feel bad about this one only being a 2.5 hour long stream. Since, you know, normally my plan is that it's going to be a 2-hour stream, and I'm often nice and go long anyway, so you're welcome. But we are going to wrap up here, so hopefully everybody had a good stream today. As I said, we stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and if you want to check out our schedule, you can find that down below. Or, if you happen to know your offset from UTC, for example, mine is currently -4, I can type in schedule -4, and it tells me in Eastern US time that Mondays at 2 p.m., Tuesdays at 2 p.m., Thursdays at 12 p.m., and Saturdays at 1 p.m., that's when it is. So if you do want to find out what the schedule is, use our schedule command, as you probably saw there on the left, and put in whatever your offset is. So if you are at UTC right now, which is unlikely because most people aren't, so for example, if you lived in the UK, you might type in !schedule with a 1, and that would tell you what that is. And thank you for the cheer, Twitchlove, much appreciated. And one of the features that I want to add to the bot that I have not added yet, Twitchlove, is that we want to have the bot do something when people cheer. And I haven't done that yet, but we are going to make that happen. And Heloja, great attempt there to deceive the bot with a a -1337 on the schedule there. And LK, thank you also for the cheer. Much appreciated, everybody. Yes, we might do something with that async awake. It is entirely possible that we could do some cool stuff on the overlay over here and have, say, like a bot dancing or something, or maybe our dinosaur will dance on screen or something. There's interesting stuff that we could do with that. Of the streaming hardware thing? I do it every once in a while. Apparently I don't do it enough, and now everybody's complaining that I don't click any of the buttons on the thing. And I got my Stream Deck, and everybody's all like, why aren't you using the Stream Deck? Is that better? Did I make you happy, Malachi? I clicked a button on there. Now, some of the things that you don't see that I could click on here don't really do much. Like, I could click this button. But I don't really want to click that button because everybody's going to think I'm gone. So, oh, it's better? Yeah, see? There we go. And I can't Async awake. This is why I didn't click the Pepsi Man button today. It's not Pepsi. So anyway, thank you all for the bits and for chatting today and all the follows. It was really awesome. I am looking forward to our next stream. Yeah, Arid Tag, so I prefer Pepsi to Coke, but I will buy Coke if it's cheaper, because they do manage to get me with that stuff. So yes, as Green Fox just put that link in there, that Green Tea Fox, that is our Discord link. And if you want to contribute to our project, you can check it out at GitHub, you can fork it, you can send us issues. Whatever you want to do there, you can run your own instance of the bot. There's a lot of things that we still have to do with it, a lot of cool ideas, and a lot of places that you can contribute. If you want to tackle any of the issues, just go ahead and claim one that's not done and work on it. And you could claim it just by saying, hey, I want to work on this. And if I don't yell at you and say not to, then you're probably welcome to do it. And if, then I become the jerk when I, don't approve it or whatever. But yeah. Try to think if there's anything else I need to mention. You could follow us on Twitter, and in the long run, if you do want to catch any of our old episodes, you can actually find them out on YouTube, so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that's where I'm going to have archives of our videos, because Twitch only keeps them so long. So the videos do stick around for a while, but they're not on Twitch forever. So in order to help them last, we're going to go ahead and put the old videos on YouTube. So they're going to be slowly appearing there, and roughly I want to have them appear there as they disappear on Twitch, but I'm not really sticking to that exactly. So if you want to see how the bot began, because I did want it to be an iterative process, that's where it is. And anyway, I look forward to seeing everybody in about 21 and a half hours. So enjoy your evening. And our night, your day, whatever you've got left of whatever it is. So I'll see everybody on Tuesday. So take care.